Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Momentum, a podcast series by HirePro, where we uncover strategies that make hiring fearless. I'm your host, Akanksha Ahuja, and today we are exploring the evolution of talent acquisition industry. Gone are the days when merely filling open positions was the role of talent acquisition teams. It has evolved from being business enablers to becoming true business partners. In today's episode, we will discuss the transformative journey of talent acquisition and discover how forward thinking organizations are harnessing this power of strategic hiring to drive business success. To discuss on the topic, we have been joined by Mr. Zakee Sheikh, Head Talent Acquisition, Cummins India Limited. Mr. Zakee is a strategic talent acquisition leader and a talent advisor with 20 plus years of experience in optimizing and transforming talent acquisition operations through technology and process excellence. His expertise lies in conceptualizing and executing talent acquisition strategies through trusted stakeholder partnerships, helping organizations build a diverse workforce. He believes in optimizing time to hire, quality of hire, and cost of hire using state of art technology, thereby enhancing candidate and hiring manager experience. Take a plunge and find out what it takes to be at the forefront of this evolution. Welcome, Mr. Zakee. Before we dive into today's exciting topic, I would like you to share your personal story with our audience. Can you take us through your journey and highlight the key experiences that have molded you into the talented and innovative talent acquisition professional that you are today?
Thank Akanksha first of all for providing me with this opportunity to participate in this podcast. And talented and innovative, I don't claim to be. Thanks for that compliment. But yeah, I think it's important for me to share how this whole journey started. If you look at my profile, I am a computer engineer by qualification, and never was my dream to get into HR because being a computer engineer and right before even I took up computer engineering, I had a very natural flair for technology, and that's how I took IT. And I wanted to become a computer engineer, and so I did become one. And I started my journey in the technical field into the IT infrastructure domain. But then, as destiny had it in store for me, while I was working in my previous organization as a hiring manager, when I went for recruiting people for my team, that's when this whole journey began. When I recruited, interviewed, and recruited people for my team, and when I saw those people joining my team, I had a very different sense of elation, a very soul satisfying experience that I have given a job opportunity to somebody and I have made somebody's career and I have been instrumental in their career development. So that sense of satisfaction actually made me think of switching gears. And that's when talent acquisition happened. So I made that shift from hiring manager to become a HR manager and get into talent acquisition, and then rest is history. Ever since then, like, it's more than 17 years I've been recruiting people, and I call myself as a hunter for talent. So that's what I do. I'm very passionate. It's not that it was just an initial passion or enthusiasm which died naturally. I think even today, when I manage all the leadership hiring for my organization, and when I meet the candidates and when those candidates join the organization, I get the same feeling, same sense of elation, same sense of satisfaction which I got when I first hired somebody in my team. So it has been a fantastic journey and an experience, and I can't think I would have done anything beyond talent acquisition.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I can relate to you in some way or the other because I myself have been in talent acquisition for a few years in the past. So I understand the feeling that you're talking about. Now, Zaki, that you have now more than 2 decades of experience overall, right? So, have you witnessed any significant shifts in the hiring processes, maybe from traditional methods to AI driven recruitment? How would you summarize your perspectives about how talent acquisition has changed over the years and what has driven this transformation?
I think that that's the buzz right now, and
Yeah.
everybody is talking about the technology disruption that recruiting as a function has experienced and seen. I think the need was always there, but nobody knew how to kind of address that need. If I have to summarize three key areas where the need got driven, the whole technology integration got driven. One was the need to fill the position faster, because usually the organizations have been taking a lot of time to fill the positions, and business cannot wait um, uh, indefinitely. So need to fill the position faster than what we have been filling. Provide better experience to the candidates and hiring managers, because we have not been doing a great job as a function, as a fraternity. And recruiters to spend more time productively in assessing the candidates. I think take away the mundane administrative tasks and focus on the core. So I think these are the three primary reasons which has driven this whole technology transformation. And we see that every second organization is now jumping on the bandwagon of embedding technology into the into the recruiting process. And as important as the recruiting capabilities is, equally important is the kind of technology that you are using for strengthening and streamlining your process. So there has been a significant shift in the way technology has been playing in the recent years, and we can't even imagine how it's going to shape up the recruiting function in the years to come.
So, how do you think talent acquisition teams today can align with the company's business objectives to drive these outcomes and transition from enablers to strategic partners? What strategies have proven most effective in your experience?
So I think that's a very fundamental and very relevant question in today's age, when we see that technology is doing a lot of administrative, time exhaustive tasks for the recruiters. Then how can you become, first of all, is there a need to become an enabler? Is there a need to become a strategic partner? That is something what each recruiter, each HR professional should think. So I'll try to kind of summarize my response to this in the way that for every recruiter and for every organization, the talent acquisition stands on three fundamental pillars. That is your time to hire, your cost of hire, and your quality of hire. These are the three fundamental talent acquisition pillars, whether it's in an IT industry, whether it's a manufacturing or BFSI, whether it's India, China, US, Europe, anywhere. And the fourth element which has got added is the experience to the candidates and hiring managers. So I think uh, keeping the experience to the core of everything that we do, focus on the three fundamental pillars. The next one would be understanding the business, because I feel majority of the recruiters whom I speak to, even in my teams when I joined Cummins and when I had started interacting with my recruiters, and when I go to some of the forums as a speaker, and when I interacting with not just with the recruiters but even the recruiting leaders, seldom they know about their business, what their business is, what do they do, where does the revenue come from. So understanding the business is very important, because if you are going to recruit people for your organization, if you don't understand your business, you'll not be able to do a good job. Once you understand your business, very important, and I would say key element would be effective partnering with your stakeholders, because these stakeholders are the one who are going to explain you the finer nuances of their needs, finer nuances of the business, why they need a talent, where they need the talent, when they need the talent. So all those intelligence, internal intelligence, of understanding the business, understanding the stakeholder is very important. And then comes anticipating the hiring needs in advance. Today, again, 90% of the recruiting happens in a reactive manner. That's the survey says that 90% recruiting happens on a reactive manner, and that's when all the pressure gets built up, and that's when everybody does an order processor job. Somebody tells you this needs to be hired, and you just go ahead and hire. And if there's time that is taken, time getting consumed, there would be a pressure built up on everyone. So understanding the hiring needs, anticipating the annual hiring needs, and creating an annual recruiting strategy. Where are you going to hire the talent from? What is the talent attraction strategy you are going to implement? Employer branding initiatives you're going to do to attract the talent. Do you have enough resources? Do you have enough tools to hire these people? So, building an annual recruiting strategy is important, and building the recruiting capabilities. I mean, you can hire recruiters, but are the recruiters capable? Do they understand recruiting? Because recruiting is just not pulling up resumes, because that now technology can do that job. Recruiter technology can source the profiles, technology can screen the profiles, technology can even schedule interviews. So what do you need the recruiters for? The recruiter needs to be transforming from order processes to advisors, from to become become business enabler, to become a strategic partner. All these things are important. Understanding the business, partnering with stakeholders, anticipating their needs, building an annual recruiting strategy, keeping the core fundamentals of the recruitment at core, and doing your product job more productively. So I think that's the shift what the recruiters should be making. It will not just help the organization, but it will also give them a very different sense of satisfaction in their job.
Very well said, Zaki. I think my key takeaways from this is understand the business. Doesn't matter how much technology is getting, used in your roles, but understand the business in a very, very good manner, and stakeholders understanding and anticipating the needs, so that it's not a reactive hiring. Otherwise, like you said, the main key fundamentals, which is your quality to hire, cost of hire, all will that get impacted because you are always getting into the reactive approach. So thank you so much for sharing. Now, coming to my next query, right? How is this shift impacting the way organizations approach hiring and talent acquisition management?
Yeah. So as an outcome, of whatever I just said, where the need got driven is the organizations felt the need to fill the positions faster. Organizations felt the need that we need to provide better experience to the candidates, to the hiring managers. Organizations felt the need that the recruiters need to do a better job in supporting the business. So if I have to summarize this and show the impact that it's having on the organization, I am seeing now organizations are becoming more and more proactive, and I'm seeing that happening in my organization itself. And even when I talk to other leaders, uh, they don't want to be in a reactive mode, they want to be in a proactive mode. So proactive hiring model have become a very important element for any recruiting strategy, and organizations have started adopting a proactive hiring model. I've also seen a very significant shift in the focus on diversity. Organizations have started focusing a lot on diversity because every organization has understood the importance of a diverse workforce, and how strong it can be, and what it can deliver, how it can benefit the organization. So organizations have now started focusing on diversity. Organizations have also started focusing on the skills rather than the pedigree. So, and this you will see in the years down the line, um, which college you have studied from, which institute you have passed out from, would be of less relevance than what skills you possess, what experiences you have. So that's going to become more relevant, and organizations have started thinking and prioritizing those more than the pedigree. And last but not the least, we are also seeing the shift that the organizations are making from hiring for potential than hiring for experience. And I'd like to quote one example here, if I may. So I was involved in a leadership hiring where one organization wanted to hire a woman leader for the business, And this organization is a manufacturing industry, and they tried hard to get a woman business leader from a manufacturing industry itself. Now we know there is a dearth of women leaders in the manufacturing industry. So after trying a lot, the organization could not find the right talent, and that's when the recruiting team, myself and few of my partners, we played that talent advisory role, strategic partnering that we were talking about. How do you become a strategic partner? That we understood the market, and being a subject matter expert, it was my responsibility to coach my hiring manager. So we engaged with a healthy discussion that you want a woman business leader.
Yeah.
Why do you want somebody only from manufacturing
Manufacturing.
industry?
Yeah.
If the woman is a good business leader and has the right business acumen, that person can turn around any business and can become successful in any business.
Absolutely.
And eventually we ended up hiring a woman leader from a sari industry. She was heading the business of saris and coming and heading the business of manufacturing. Very different. And trust me, we have been successful. So potential versus experience, this is the shift that the organization should make. And I've seen that organizations started doing that because they want to embrace diversity. And I think that's where the talent acquisition's role of strategic partnering, talent advisory comes into picture. Are you just doing what is being told to you, or are you bringing market insights and presenting it to the hiring managers, to your business leaders, and providing that consulting approach?
Yeah, that's such a great example. Thank you so much, Zakee, for sharing that. And I understand that, so many organizations kind of do not take that plunge of exploring the shift from potential to actual experience, right? So that is there. And now, talking about technology, artificial intelligence, and its impact, do you believe that Gen AI can surpass traditional hiring methods? And is technology reshaping the talent acquisition landscape?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we are witnessing it. So it is no more a question, I would say, rather it's evident, and we have seen the impact that the talent that the technology has had on talent acquisition. If I have to give examples, there are many. Few years back, it was still in a nascent stage, and people were contemplating that, hey, I mean, technology is all good, but in recruiting, this is not possible because recruiters will be required to do all this job, and that's how it happens when you never imagined that you could sit at your home, pick up your phone, and without talking to anyone, you could order food of your choice. You
Absolutely.
could book a cab. Okay, for everything we thought that this is just not possible to do it. Same way, people thought that it's just not possible to embed technology in recruitment, but today here we are, where 50% of the recruiting process has been transformed by technology, be it sourcing, be it initial screening, be it interview scheduling, be it assessing the candidates. For everything, we are seeing that technology has already made its inroads. And these are generative AI technologies. What it means is that this learns on its own. So as you keep using it, as you keep practicing it, it's going to become more and more intelligent, and it's going to do the job for you. So, yes, there has been an impact, there has been a shift, and we are seeing that the talent acquisition processes, to a large extent, has been um, I would say, transformed through technology, and I would say that's a very positive and very welcome shift, according to me.
So, what I hear from you is that in every stage of hiring, technology is already put its foot forward. So, what
Yeah.
emerging technologies should talent acquisition teams be aware of? And how can they leverage them to drive business outcomes?
Yeah, good. I think good question, Akanksha. So, from a broader technology perspective, I think there are three technologies. So, one is definitely Gen AI,
Mhm.
and people often get uh, confused because there are certain organizations who are using very basic technology, which is called as an algorithm based technology,
Okay.
and and it's a rule-based technology which doesn't learn on its own, and that technology is not going to help you in recruiting. That's not something what you should be doing. But generative AI is something what is going to learn basis your patterns, basis what you are going to feed in them. So Gen AI is definitely one technology which every recruiter should get familiarized. There are multiple courses available which teaches you, and I think it's not going to replace your job. It's not a threat to you, but you need to adopt it. Once you adopt it, today, if I have been looking for a recruiter who just knows recruiting, tomorrow I will be looking at recruiter who understands Gen AI also. That's the only shift that's going to happen. Gen AI is not going to replace the recruiter's jobs, but it's going to enhance and upskill them. So Gen AI is one technology. And I don't know whether you would have heard, but the traditional interview scheduling methodology, where the recruiter or the coordinator calls up the candidate, calls up the hiring manager, fixes the time, and then schedules the interview, and a lot of back and forth can happen between the hiring manager or the candidate, interview rescheduling. All those things will become a history in some time, because interview scheduling tools are coming up where the candidate will be having visibility of the hiring manager's calendar. Hiring manager will be able to show his or her availability, the visibility to the candidate. So the interview scheduling will be completely automated between the candidate and the hiring manager. A recruiter won't be required to put in that administrative efforts. So at interview scheduling tools is another place where the recruiters can learn more about it. The third is the assessment tools. There are many tools which provide you a very good assessment of the candidate. So while the resume will give you just a summary or a high level overview of the candidate, your AI tools will give the screening and shortlisting of the candidates, but the assessment tools will go a little deeper into the candidate profile and see whether this candidate is really suitable for the role or not. Your Gen AI is going to do the resume versus job match, whether this resume is matching the job. What the assessment tools do is they go one step further and they say that whether this candidate is suitable for the role or not. So that assessment tools are also very important for the recruiters to learn. And last but not the least, there are wonderful CRM tools, candidate relationship management tools, because as I said, experience is going to be the core of everything. Your hiring manager experience, your candidate experience. So every recruiter should be familiarized, and every organization should think of adopting candidate relationship management tools as well. So I think these are some of the broad uh, tools and technologies which I feel is going to have a long lasting impact on TA processes.
Zaki, do you feel that we all are losing the human connect here because of the technology? So, in an increasingly automated environment, how can talent acquisition teams balance the benefits of technology with the need of that human touch that you need and that personal connection that you need in a recruitment process?
Yeah, true. And I get these questions all the time, and I have written some articles also on this on LinkedIn, and it's a very valid question. As I was mentioning, that it's not going to replace the recruiters, but it will need that the recruiters enhance their capabilities. What it means is that if technology is going to do majority of the mundane, time exhaustive activities that you have been doing, what you should be doing as a recruiter, what you were not doing earlier, what you have been missing out on doing earlier, because why you have been missing out is you didn't have time to do that because you were so involved and exhausted in the time exhaustive activities, so you were not able to focus on the core.
Okay.
So when technology is going to free your bandwidth by doing the time consuming activities, then the recruiters need to start focusing on some of the points which I mentioned earlier. Focus on the core, the three pillars of talent acquisition, the time to fill, cost of hire, and quality of hire. Understand your business, get more deeper insights of your business. What do they do? What do they want? Start partnering with your stakeholders, understanding what they want, because each stakeholder will be different. While you understand your business, you also need to understand individuals, because every leader, every stakeholder will have a different set of needs, and you will have to customize. It cannot be a one size fits all kind of an approach. So you need to start effectively partnering with the stakeholders, start working on more strategic initiatives like building an annual recruiting strategy, start building your capabilities of assessing the candidates. Today, if you ask any recruiter how much time do you spend in evaluating the candidate during a phone screening, and the common answer that I get would be 10 to 15 minutes. That's the time that the recruiter is spending in assessing the candidate.
Oh.
What happens with this is that the recruiter ends up putting up 10 candidates in front of the hiring manager to evaluate. Is it productive? No, because hiring manager is going to spend 10 hours of his or her productive time to interview candidates to fill one position. Versus the recruiter needs to enhance their capabilities in assessing the candidates, evaluating the candidates, so that between 2 to 3 candidates, they should be able to fill a position. So the time, the interview to offer ratio is something which the recruiter needs to start focusing on. How am I going to provide quality candidates for my hiring managers for interview? So that's the shift that the recruiters will have to make. And last but not the least, transform from an order processor to a advisor. You cannot be just doing what you have been doing. You cannot be doing just what is being told to you. You need to understand the business, partner with stakeholder, and become proactive. You need to understand what are the best practices in the market. What is ABC organizations doing? What are the new trends in the talent acquisition? What are the new technologies which has come? Bring that to the hiring managers, bring that to the business leaders, show them what is available, what is not available. So that partnering, that consulting. So there is a lot of things which the recruiters can now start focusing on, rather than feeling threatened that hey, technology is now doing everything, I don't have anything left to do. There is a lot of things left to do which they can start getting involved, and this will actually elevate them as enablers, as strategic partners, which was my earlier point. How do you become an enabler and strategic partner? This is how you're going to do that.
So, Zakee, from a candidate standpoint, when AI is basically matching the resume, AI or some interviewing scheduling tools are there who are scheduling the interviews between the candidate and this. The candidate can feel there is no human touch in between, and if they have to approach, they have some doubts to ask, whom do they reach out? So, that kind of human connection, do you think will kind of get broken during this technology embedding and all that process?
No, I think we need to understand rather than misunderstand. Um, the the interview scheduling tool, the candidate relationship management tool, these are all the tools to provide the candidate a better experience. Without a technology, is it possible for a recruiter to respond to 100 plus applications who apply to a job? Answer is
Correct.
no.
Makes sense.
But the candidate feels left out, that oh, I applied for this job but I never got a response from the company, I never got a response from the recruiter. So those communications, those engagements, let the technology take. Does it mean that if the technology is communicating and scheduling the interviews and providing the status updates to the candidate, you don't need to connect with the candidate? No, you ought to connect with your candidate.
Yes.
You ought to give them the larger picture of the who is going to explain the employee value proposition to the candidate. It's the recruiter. Why the candidate should join this organization, why this is going to be a good career move for this. So they need to start playing that role, help being a consultant, not just for the hiring manager. They need to act as a consultant to the candidate also, in helping them in their next career progression, in their career advancement. So that's a very important role which a recruiter can play. Sadly, most of the recruiters don't get to play that because they get consumed in a lot of mundane activities. If technology frees them up from these mundane activities, they will get an opportunity to focus on the core, focus on providing those experiences both to hiring manager and the candidates, and build their own capabilities also.
Sure, thank. That makes the whole picture come together now. Thank you so much for sharing. Zaki, what opportunities and challenges does technology present for the recruitment professionals?
So I think we covered this. Challenges is that it's fast moving. It's no, if you don't want it, it's not going to stop it itself. So you need to understand that that disruption is bound to happen, and in the next few years the entire the landscape of talent acquisition will change. So the challenge is that if you are not embracing yourself, if you are not adopting, you will be left behind. That's the challenge. You will lose out, and then maybe then talent acquisition will not have a role for you. But the opportunities are tremendous because there are so many technologies, and as I said, let the technology do the technology part.
Yeah.
The recruiter has to see what are the opportunities lying, that now my mundane tasks are getting taken care, which was where I was not adding value. Was I adding a value in calling up the candidate, calling up the hiring manager, asking them time, and then scheduling the interview? What was I adding a value? No, I was not adding a value. Was I adding a value in going through hundreds and 200s resumes and seeing which one to shortlist? No, I was not adding value. So that time utilization of partnering with the business, understanding the business, upgrading your quality or your capabilities in doing a better job in evaluating the candidates, providing a good experience to the hiring manager and candidates. I think those are the opportunity areas for the recruiters which they should start thinking.
Great. As we are coming towards the end of our discussion, where do you foresee technology taking talent acquisition to by, say, 2030? How can companies prepare their HR teams or the TA professionals should prepare themselves for these advancements?
Well, it's moving at a very fast pace, Akanksha. I must say that few years back it didn't look like that it's going to shape up, and everybody had their own apprehensions. But the way it is shaping up, it's going to move very fast. So 2030 is not very far, I would say. 2030 is just 6 years down the line, and I would say that while 30-40% of your recruiting process is already optimized, I would say by 2030 at least 60% of your talent acquisition processes will get optimized and transformed and automated. That's the shift I'm seeing, which is happening, um, and we are witnessing this in our organization, in many other organizations, that majority of the tasks is being taken care. I won't say taken care is not the right word. Is being automated and supported by technology. So I would say that is bound to happen, and we need to start embracing it.
Okay. So, what would be your advice to HR enthusiasts aiming to transform their talent acquisition processes from enablers to strategic partners?
Yeah, I think enough we have talked about technology, and as I said, let technology do its job, and we won't be able to even stop it. So I won't advise the HR enthusiasts who are planning to transform the talent acquisition processes to delve too much. But yes, um, opportunities from a technology standpoint, one needs to adopt as early as possible. Because if I am a HR leader or a recruiting leader of an organization who has not adopted technology, I am not competing. I am not in competition with my competitors who have already adopted.
Yes.
They are going to fill their positions faster because there is a war of talent, and everybody would want to reach out to those candidates faster. So I am going to not be competitive in the market if I'm not adopting technology. My first advice to the HR enthusiasts who are transforming the talent acquisition processes and system is to adopt technology. Please adopt technology, because that is going to take care of all your administrative part. Don't make recruiters do the administrative part, because they won't be adding value to it when you have technology to do it. And when you are adopting technology to transform your talent acquisition process, start working on the score which I was talking about. Understand the business, build effective stakeholder partnerships, understand the hiring needs, create an annual recruiting strategy, start hiring proactively rather than being reactive, become a talent advisor, understand what is best in class practices in the market versus being internally focused. So it's very important. Recruiter's role is a very external facing role, and one needs to be very much aware what's happening in the market.
Yeah.
So they need to constantly keep benchmarking the best practices, be aware as a subject matter expert what is happening, and bring those intelligence to the organization. and continue to focus on the core, continue to excel and become good talent advisors. And I don't think recruiters will be a word which will be used in the future. They will be called as talent advisors.
Zaki, in your career till date, are there any notable lessons that you would like to share with our audience?
So yeah, I think I don't know whether they are notable or whether they are noteworthy, but for me, those were very important milestones. And one was from a technology perspective, other was from a non-technology perspective. So let me give you both these examples because both are relevant in something in line with what we have been talking about. So in my previous organization, we felt the need to build applicant tracking system, a technology which will which will help us in the entire application process, the entire hiring process. We evaluated a lot of off-the-shelf technologies and tools which were available, and eventually we decided that we would build our own tool. And I was the chief architect to build the in-house tool. And from the time again when we started, we felt that, oh, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? To the point it became so successful that all the other regions of my previous organization adopted the tool because they found it so user friendly. And now till date, so I feel that I've left that as a legacy in my previous organization, created a tool, a state of the art tool, and every region in that organization is using that tool. And this, I still keep getting calls from so many of my leaders that, hey, something what you did, it has made life so much easy for us, and that gives the satisfaction. So that was one milestone I can say. And second one was in my current organization when it was not related to technology, but it was more related to transforming my recruiters from being order processors to talent advisors. So I saw that need many years back, that if we are going to just be a coordinator and not add any value, if we are just going to get driven by what is being told to us, then what's our job, what's our role? I'm not adding any value. And that's when I started coaching my recruiters, my recruiting leaders, how they can transform from being an order processor to a talent advisor. And I've seen that it's a journey. I won't say, have we reached 100%? No, there's nothing called as 100% here. But yeah, we have made that significant shift. And today, when I talk to my recruiters, the way they come across in a very consultative approach, what's happening in the market, this is what you should be doing, this is what you should not be doing, this is the language they speak to the hiring managers. So the hiring managers also started respecting the recruiters a lot more than what they used to respect earlier. So I've seen the credibility of talent acquisition gone up significantly with this transformation from being an order processor to a talent advisor, from becoming a strategic enabler and a partner to the business. You are building your own credibility. So these are the two milestones I think I feel very satisfied to talk about and think about when I talk.
Thank you so much, Zaki, by sharing all of these insightful conversations, your life experiences, and professional experiences with us. I will wrap up by giving this note and summary to the HR enthusiast, a message from Zaki saying that do not resist to technology, but adopt it fast and quickly so that you can focus and become from recruiters to talent advisors in the future. Thank you so much, Zaki.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Akanksha. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. To our audience, subscribe to our podcast for insightful conversations coming your way exclusively on Momentum. I'm your host, Akanksha Ahuja, signing off for today.